So you're thinking of moving to Phoenix, Arizona, but you want to know the cost of living. You want to know how much it's going to cost to live in Arizona, to enjoy the lifestyle that we have here, and what everything is going to cost, things like housing and HOAs and groceries and all of that good stuff. Well, in this video, we're going to break it down for you, talk about all the different expenses that you're going to encounter, what it's like, how it compares to the national averages, so that you can actually have a really good idea about what it costs to live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. So we got a lot of info to cover for you guys, so let's go ahead and do this. Samantha, and my team and I get calls every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Phoenix, Arizona, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking about making a move, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months. We are here and happy to help. Please just reach out. That is what we're here for, and we absolutely love it. If you've got questions, there's ways to connect with us. Just check the description. All of our contact info is down there. You can hop on a Zoom call with us if you want. There's tons of freebies for you there too. We've got a moving checklist, more info about Phoenix, day-to-day life, all that fun stuff. So definitely check it out if you want to know anything else or get more info. Like I said, we're going to be covering cost of living here in Phoenix, Arizona. There is a lot to cover. Phoenix has a lot to offer. And some of the prices are good, some of the prices not so good, but I want to be honest and break it down for you guys. So let's go ahead and check out some of those numbers. Okay, well, let's jump right in and start breaking down some of the cost of living here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm going to walk you guys through, talk about some of the main components that make up cost of living and how those compare here in Phoenix, Arizona to the national average, so you can kind of get a good idea about whether it's going to be higher or lower than the area you're in right now. I'm also going to give you guys my actual bills. I've lived here my whole life in the Phoenix area, born and raised. I absolutely love it, but I also have a lot of experience with bills and the Phoenix costs and everything associated with it. So I'll walk you through, tell you what my current bills are and everything like that, and then you can kind of take those numbers, adjust it to how many people you have in your family or how big of a house you're wanting, everything like that, so that hopefully you'll have a good idea of what those costs are going to look like for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into our first category, and that is going to be utilities. And so utilities are a little bit higher. The cost of utilities here in Phoenix, Arizona is a little bit higher than the national average, just to be aware of that. There are only 2 electric companies in the Phoenix area and all the kind of surrounding metro areas. Number 1, APS. Number 2, SRP. The cost is pretty similar. In general, SRP sometimes tends to be a little bit cheaper, but the majority of the Phoenix area is APS, just to give you a heads up. And you can't decide which electric company that you get. The utilities company is decided for you based on where your house is at. So wherever you end up buying your house, they'll let you know whether it's SRP or APS that provides the utility services there, and you're kind of stuck with it. That's how it works here in Phoenix. Both APS and SRP have options where you can have like the usage is a little bit cheaper and stuff like that based on the time of day. For example, we have APS. It's just me and my husband. We're in a 2-bed, 2-bathroom home. It's about 1,200 square feet. Well, we also have our corgi Bruce, and Bruce thinks he counts as a person. He's very spoiled. So technically like 3, but like just actually 2. Anyways, we have APS, and we are on the plan where power usage outside of the areas of 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. is cheaper. So 3 to 8 p.m. is kind of when a lot of people are going to be coming home from school, coming home from work. You're going to be using all the different appliances and electricity in your house to do dishes and laundry and cook and clean and like all that good stuff. And so if we use power during 3 to 8, it's more expensive. So we try to keep our electric kind of usage outside of those areas for the most part, and that helps make our bill a little bit cheaper. So both APS and SRP have that option, but they also have a plan where you can pay the same amount every single month. They'll take a look at your electric bills, and obviously in the summer it's going to be a little bit higher, in the winter it might be a little bit less because summers are really hot and your AC's running like the whole time, and so you can actually kind of average out your bill and you can pay the exact same amount every single month. And then once a year, they'll kind of take a look, rebalance it. If you're overpaying, they'll adjust it so your payment's lower. If you're underpaying, they'll adjust it and raise it up a little bit so that you're paying the same thing every single month. So that's an option as well. AC is definitely going to be one of the highest electric bills that you're going to have here. The AC units, honestly, we start running them in about March. March is when it starts to get warm enough to want your AC on, and we run it until kind of the end of November. Occasionally there might even be a random couple of days where it gets a little bit warmer in December. I know, but that's just like, it comes with the territory of living in Phoenix. And so your AC is going to be running throughout the year. So that's definitely a cost to keep in mind when it comes to utilities. You also have to replace the filters in your AC unit. Phoenix is really dusty. We're a desert and there's a lot of dust and stuff like that. So buy the cheap filters, don't pay for the super expensive ones because you're gonna have to change them out anyway. So just buy the cheap filters, replace them every month, and that will kind of help your AC unit last a little bit longer. But also getting your AC unit serviced at least once a year, but preferably twice. Once right before summer and once in the winter, just to make sure it's cleaned, it's functioning properly. The last thing you want is for your AC unit to go out in July when it's 150 degrees and you're just like melting inside. So that is kind of the first category of going through and talking about utilities. Just to give you an idea of what the utility bill looks like. For us, when it's in the winter, our utility bill is around $115 a month. Again, kind of give or take on what we're doing. If we're having company over and like doing a bunch of different stuff and extra cooking and cleaning and dishes and laundry and stuff, then it'll go higher. But in winter, it's usually around 115. In the summer, it gets up to 200, sometimes a little over 200, depends on how hot it gets and how much we're running the AC. My husband likes to keep the house really cold. I try not to. I'm always cold to begin with because I'm, born and raised in Phoenix. So I usually try not to have the AC running that much, but in summer it's so hot you kind of just have to like deal with it. So in the summer, our utility bill usually is kind of around the 200 to 225 mark each month. All right, our second category is going to be groceries. Groceries in the Phoenix area are actually a little bit cheaper than the national average overall. Again, that's going to kind of depend on where you shop. We do have a lot of the different chains here. We have Fry's, which I think is like Kroger in other places, but it's called Fry's here. We've got, Safeway, Target, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco. There's Winco here. If you know what Winco is, cool. If not, you'll find out when you move here. But it's kind of like Costco, except it's like owned by people who, anyways, it's sort of like Costco, but cheaper. And so we've got all those different places, but then we also have, like, if you want like fancier ones, there are like higher end grocery stores where it's going to be a little more expensive, things like Whole Foods or AJ's or sometimes Sprouts and stuff like that, where it's just kind of a different level, different quality, and a little bit more expensive. But the nice thing about Arizona is that we have a lot of access to different foods and produce and things like that. We have a lot of farms and agriculture here in the Arizona area, which is really cool. We're close to a lot of farms. We have a lot of different produce that is grown here locally, which is really cool. So a lot of like corn, artichokes, citrus. We have a lot of citrus here in Arizona. A lot of people have citrus trees in their backyard actually, which is really cool. But we just have a lot of availability to agriculture and farms here in the state of Arizona. So it's a lot cheaper than other places. Like I visited California and Hawaii in the past year, and holy smokes, the groceries there were way more expensive. Things like produce, meat, dairy, and a bunch of other things were very, very expensive just because they've got to pay to ship it in or stuff like that. They don't have access to it. So here in Arizona, you do. We also have tons of farmers markets. There are farmers markets all over in every single city. Some cities have multiple farmers markets. And so throughout the week and during the weekends and stuff like that, if you actually want to go and get your groceries or produce or certain things at the farmers market, you definitely can, which is really cool. For actual bills, what it looks like, our bill, my husband and I, we do a lot of eating. We really like food, and my husband's actually also a professional chef, so we're constantly eating. He is doing like different kind of like research and testing out recipes and stuff like that for the restaurants that he works in, and so we have a higher grocery bill than most people. Honestly, it's anywhere between $500 and $600 a month. We do host a lot of people as well, and we love snacks and like just having a bunch of drinks on hand and everything, so that is not always going to be the case for a family of two. I know our bill's a little higher than normal, but food is kind of something that we budgeted for anyway. We really enjoy it and stuff like that. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. Our bill for groceries is higher than the average person, for sure, for a family of two, three if you count the corgi, but that is going to be groceries and the cost associated with that here kind of in the Phoenix area. Category number 3 is going to be transportation, and so there are going to be some higher costs associated with transportation here in the Arizona area. First, let's talk about cars. If you are going to be living in Phoenix, you're probably going to need a car. There's a couple places like downtown Phoenix, Old Town Scottsdale, downtown Tempe that are walkable, and you can get away without having a car as long as you're not planning on really leaving those areas. But Phoenix and the metro area and all the surrounding suburbs and cities is really spread out. Phoenix is massive. And most people here have cars because it is so spread out, and you're going to be driving a ways to work, to school, and everything in between. So we do have a lot of Uber, Lyft, rideshare and stuff like that. So if for some reason you don't have a car when you first get here, you can absolutely pay for those services and things like that. But it does get pricey because you're going to be traveling long distances just because it is so spread out here. So that's something to think about. When it comes to transportation, getting your driver's license here in Arizona, it's not too bad. It's $50 and it lasts 8 years. I learned that not all states do that. You have to like renew it every year, every 2 years, or 3 or 5 years. Ours lasts 8 years. It used to last a lot longer, but then they were like, okay, that's crazy. We can't have driver's license like not be renewed for 30 years. So it's 8 years now. And, but your registration for your car is going to be a little bit pricier. It's going to be several $100s for 2 years. It's going to be registered for 2 years. And so it can be anywhere from like $700 to $1,200 depending on your car, how new it is, the value. They do it based on the assessed value of your car. So just kind of keep that in mind. It is going to be pretty expensive to register your car, even though it does last for those 2 years. And of course, we got to talk about gas prices. So it didn't used to be super crazy expensive here, but with everything that's been going on in the world lately, gas is definitely more expensive. This same time last year, it was actually a little bit more than $1.50 cheaper than what it is now. So who knows if that's going to change? I'm really hoping gas prices go down, but we're not really sure what's going to happen in the future. So if you're watching this around spring 2022, it's almost $5 per gallon right now. But again, just you could Google it at the time. If you're watching this at a different time, just Google it and check what it is. It's hopefully changed since this. Okay, a few other expenses that you are gonna have when it comes to transportation is if you do own a car, there's things that you gotta do in Phoenix just to upkeep it. Tires, you're gonna have to replace them because the heat really does a number on them. So replacing your tires every couple of years is gonna be kind of standard, as well as window tinting. If you don't have it, you're gonna wanna pay for it. It is hot, the sun is no joke, and you'll see a lot of cars here in the Phoenix area have really dark tinting because we are trying to avoid the sun at all costs. So kind of be prepared for that as well. Car washes, and we're really dusty. It doesn't rain a whole lot, but when it does, everyone's like, there's lines to the car washes, and there's a car wash on every single corner. There's a reason. It's dusty. Our cars are always dirty, and so you see people getting their car washed a lot here. You can get the standard $3 car wash. You can go all the way up to like $100 where they do the full inside detail and all of that, but that's kind of an expense to factor in as well. You're gonna have to have car insurance, of course, which is a little bit more expensive here than the national average. Phoenix has crappy drivers. That's kind of one of the things we're starting to be known for is Arizona drivers. And of course, we have a lot of tourism, especially in the winter months. And so people coming in from out of town, not knowing how to drive there results in a lot of accidents. So car insurance can be a little bit pricier here as well, just as a heads up. Again, to give you an idea, our car insurance, my husband and I, we've got 2 vehicles, one newer, one older, and our car insurance is $215 a month, which really isn't too bad when you factor in normal Arizona rates. Something to think about when you do get car insurance is you want to get full glass protection or coverage. And what that means is basically we have a lot of rocks here. It's a desert, and so you're gonna probably be replacing your windshield at least once every couple years, if not every year or every 6 months. There's rocks all over, especially when you're driving down the highways and stuff like that. Rocks get kicked up all the time, and so you're gonna constantly get chips and cracks in your windshield. And so having that full glass coverage will let you get that replaced for free, unlimited, as many times as you want every single year, which is good. I have used that several times, so that's something to think about as well. Oh, and lastly, car batteries. So car batteries, again, with the heat here, it just does a number on them. So you're probably gonna end up replacing them every 2 years. If your car battery lasts longer than 2 years, congrats. It usually doesn't happen here. Don't buy the super expensive car battery that like claims it's gonna last for 5 years and it's like a few extra $100 extra. The heat affects them all the same. So just get the cheap one, replace it every year or every 2 years, and you'll be fine. But one thing you don't have to worry about when it comes to cost for transportation and everything like that here is the wear and tear that happens with cars in other parts of the country where you've got a lot of snow and cold weather and kind of all the salt from salting the roads and everything like that. We don't have that here because it doesn't snow in Phoenix, which is really nice, unless you like snow, in which case it's not. But so we don't have all the snow here, and you don't have to deal with all the costs of the wear and tear that happen with that. Category number 4 is housing. And when it comes to housing, again, it depends on your needs, your wants, the lifestyle that you want and everything when you're coming here to Phoenix. And that is going to kind of dictate what type of house situation you're going to be in. When it comes to homes, the cheapest homes are kind of in the high 300,000s. Again, those are going to be small townhomes and condos and things like that. But kind of the medium home price right now is in the mid 400,000s for homes in the Phoenix area. If you're looking at renting, just as a heads up, the average rent is $1,600. Most rents are going to be higher than that. That's kind of on the lower end. Again, if you're looking for a 1 or 2 bedroom place, if you want an actual house, if you're looking for 3 bedrooms, stuff like that, it's going to easily be closer to the 2000s or even kind of mid 2000s, just as a heads up for monthly rent. So that's definitely something to think about when it comes to housing. And there's going to be a bunch of little different costs associated with housing and living and stuff like that. So let's talk about internet. So you've got Cox and CenturyLink, who are kind of the main 2 providers of internet here. There's a lot. You have so many different options. We personally have Cox Internet. Like I said, it's a 1,200 square foot house, just so you kind of know like how big it is. Obviously, I work from home and I'm doing stuff all the time as a realtor. My husband also, when he is home, does a lot of work as well on his laptop and stuff. So we have 5 devices. We can have 5 devices going at one time, and our internet is super strong. We haven't had any issues with it. It's about $100 a month, just to kind of give you a heads up of what the cost looks like for that. All right, next is pest control. Things like scorpions and spiders and grasshoppers and ants and flies and like all that stuff. I'm not into bugs. I do not like pests, and I don't know anyone who does, but when it comes to Phoenix, Arizona, pest control is really affordable. It's like our bill is $75 and they come every other month and spray, and since they have been, we haven't seen any bugs or critters or anything like that. So really affordable, and if there are certain things that you really don't like, aka scorpions, just let them know. You can get your house sealed or have special treatments done so you can avoid having all those in your house. And then of course you have water, sewer, and garbage. So this is going to depend on where you're living. If you live in a community that has an HOA, a lot of times the HOA will cover some or all of those. For example, where we live, our HOA covers water, garbage collection, and sewer, and that's all lumped into our HOA bill. Our HOA bill is $170 a month, so it covers all of those. Plus they do like, the pools and the landscaping and stuff like that. So that's kind of giving you an idea of what the bill would be like. But if you are getting your water or garbage collection through the city, you can just look at those sites and they'll have the exact costs or estimations on there for you. And then of course, landscaping, pools, and kind of stuff like that are unique to the Phoenix area. So when it comes to pools, if you have a pool, upkeep and maintenance is really important. If you're a go-getter and you want to do it yourself, like congrats, go for it. You're still gonna have to buy all of the supplies and cleaning and chemicals and balancing all of that. There's gonna be some costs associated with it, or you can get pool service. Pool service is so common here in Phoenix because like 50% of the homes have pools. And so they will come out and they will come every week or every other week, whatever you decide on. Usually it's just $100 a month, and they'll come out and they will do the cleaning, the maintenance. They're gonna balance all the chemicals and the pH, make sure it's safe year round and stuff like that. So that is definitely a cost associated if you are gonna be having a pool in your backyard. And then of course you have landscaping. Like I said, sometimes it's included with the HOA. You don't have to worry about it, but if you don't have an HOA or wanna have your own landscaping done, then usually it's gonna be anywhere from $50 to $100 a month. They'll come once a week or every other week, again, whatever you decide on, and they'll come out and do all that landscaping for you. There's specific things, especially like certain trees and plants, palm trees, you have to get done a couple different times a year, and there's specific landscapers who just do palm trees because it's like they gotta scale all the way up there and gotta take care of it and trim it at certain times and all that good stuff. So just kind of be aware of that as well if you're looking at what kind of house you want to have and what types of plants are going to be in that front yard. All right, next category is taxes, and property taxes are actually very low in Arizona, some of the lowest in the nation, which is really cool. Now it's definitely going to depend on the city and the area and the zip code that you live in, because each of those factors is going to affect it and stuff like that. So for example, if we're looking at a home that is in the Phoenix area, say it's $550,000, the tax bill is going to be around $2,100 per year for that home. So compared to places like Chicago or California or other places on the East Coast, sometimes even the Northwest, definitely a lot cheaper here when it comes to property taxes. And then personal income tax is just 4% in Arizona. We do also have sales tax, mostly imposed on kind of tourism and stuff like that. But when you think about places like Oregon, for example, we have a lot of people who move here from Oregon and they do not have sales tax, but they do have income tax, and it's 10%. So 4% income tax here in Arizona definitely looks better compared to that. All right, last but not least, we have entertainment. And entertainment can really vary. It depends on what you like, what you're into, what part of the valley you're in and stuff like that. You can get beautiful, amazing high-end meals for anywhere from like $100 to $300 a person. If you want to go like check out the dining scene over in Scottsdale, there are lots of high-end luxury award-winning restaurants there. If you're like a foodie and you really want to check that stuff out, you actually absolutely can. Or you can go get, cheap margaritas for a few bucks each, you know, over at one of the local mom and pop shops here. You can also, if you want to do like wine and bruschetta with your girls, my personal favorite, it'll be like, you know, 30, 40 bucks a person and stuff like that. So it just is really going to depend on where you're going, what type of food you like, and kind of how much you want to pay. But every different part of the valley kind of has its own dining and all the different shops and everything. So no matter where you go, you're always going to have lots of different options, which is really cool. And like I said, each part of the valley has hot spots, entertainment, sports, things like that. And there are lots of sporting events here, and the tickets aren't too crazy. Again, if you want like front row seats, it's going to be more expensive, but you can get tickets to things like, you know, baseball games for 15 bucks. We've got spring training and stuff like that when that's in season. You can get tickets for $30. It's going to be the nosebleeds, but still not bad for a fun day checking out the spring training. Or if you want Cardinals tickets, those can be anywhere from, you know, 50, 75 bucks. Again, so there are a lot of different sporting events that you can check out, and it's not too expensive. And of course, we have tons of entertainment that is free. We have so many outdoor activities, which is really fun. You've got hiking, you've got biking. If you want to go up on Lake Pleasant and enjoy lake life living for a day, there is so much you can do. You can go, you know, tubing on Salt River, hang out by Tempe Town Lake, head over to Old Town Scottsdale for the day to check out all the art galleries and exhibits. You can walk in and check out all that art for free. There's so many festivals, concerts, farmers markets, and a lot of those events are free to get into. If you want to, you know, eat, drink, buy souvenirs, stuff like that, yes, you'll have to pay for it, but to get into a lot of the events that we have here going on is free as well. Okay, well, I hope that kind of gives you guys a good idea about cost of living here in the Phoenix area, what the bills might look like and stuff like that. But if there's areas I didn't cover or things that need updated or questions I didn't answer, definitely reach out and let me know. You can comment, or you can reach out and actually send us a text or give us a call, shoot us an email, schedule a Zoom call, whatever you want to do. But we would absolutely love to answer your questions and be here to help. Maybe Phoenix is just the right fit for you, or maybe it's not, or maybe you want to learn more. If you do want to learn more about Phoenix or all the different areas and cities around it, go check out some of the other videos that we've done. We have covered a lot of the different areas, so you can kind of get a good feel for what they're like and the pros and cons and what living in those areas is going to feel like. And if there is an area that we haven't covered, or if there's more information that you want, or if you want help finding the right fit for you, just let us know. Like I said, reach out anytime, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Whether you're making a move in 9 days or 9 months, we are here and happy to help. And until next time, we'll see you soon.